Go ahead, put it on real tight. Hope you brought your best tonight. They say they got the fireworks, yeah, they say they got the show. Here around the chutes, you're the best, so let's go.
This is Texas Toast, a production of TSC Entertainment. I'm your host, Miss Helen. Kick back and enjoy as we toast the best from Texas.
Welcome to the Texas Toast, a very special guest that I'm ready to dig into this interview and visit with Hayden Baker. Hello, Hayden Baker. How are you?
How are you doing, Helen? So good to see you.
You too. I'm doing wonderful. And we have a lot of things. Like I said, all your stuff is right in my wheelhouse because, first of all, you're from Katy.
That's right.
And I'm a Sealy girl. That's where I grew up.
There you go. Not too
Right
far
down
off.
the road. And I'm a baseball freak, like grew up with baseball. Like I'm the girl that watches spring training and starts keeping stats during spring training. And
That's what we like to
so
hear.
your path to music, first you went through baseball and you played, of course, at Katy High School. You were a standout there in football and baseball. And then you went to Angelina College, and being the stat person that I am, I looked up your stats for your freshman year at Angelina County, and you were just phenomenal. 303 average in 42 games. Your on-base percentage was almost getting into 400, and your slugging average 423. Second team academic all-state, Houston Chronicle athlete of the week. That's a big deal in the Houston area.
Yes, that was very cool. That was for high school. That
Right.
Houston Chronicle thing. That was my senior year. The first week of the season, I hit. I think I hit 600 and 630 or something. I went
That's
like
crazy.
15 for 22. It was insane. And now I didn't hit any bombs or anything. It was just strictly base hits up the middle. I was very much a
Consistent.
contact guy. Yeah. So that was very cool. I like this. You did your research on all kinds of stuff.
Well, when it comes to baseball, fishing, and music,
That's up in your wheelhouse,
I
huh?
gotta dig in. I gotta dig in. Yes.
Yeah. I do have to
Yes.
say, I think I remember they messed up on my average at Angelina. I think I hit about 330. They left a few games out of there.
Oh,
I was pretty disappointed in that.
still,
But
still to go straight from Katy to college and have those numbers, that was good stuff there.
yes, that was a lot of fun playing ball up there. And so it was my red shirt freshman year. So it was my second year there. My first year, I tore my UCL and had Tommy John surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of how the music thing really started to take hold because I had a year of nothing to do. So I found a wine bar in downtown Lufkin that did open mic every Thursday. And that's where I spent all my Thursday nights learning how to play in front of a little bit of a crowd there.
That's amazing. And so that while we're on the subject of that, moving to the music, that's why I fell in love with, because I was researching your music and I'm like, oh, I saw the logo for the baseball song and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be good. And that's what led me down the path of baseball. But I love the lyrics and they're a boy, a ball, and a dream. And then of course then it goes to guitar at one
Mhm.
point in the song. So how
Yeah.
at what point did you write that song?
So I started writing it the night before my last game at Houston Baptist University.
Mm-hmm.
I got to play 1 year D1, and halfway through that season, I decided that music was going to be my thing. Baseball was kind of starting to go on the back burner, so I applied to A&M and decided to finish up. But yeah, the night before my last game, I started writing that song. One of my teammates had actually like posted that on his story. He was a senior, and he put a boy, a ball, and a dream. I was like, that could be a really really cool song.
Wow.
So I jotted down the idea. I think I put like the Hank Aaron, Hank Williams line down in there, and I put it to bed for a while. And then fast forward about a year, and we were getting ready to record that album, and I was like, I want this song to be on it. And I finished it up the night before we went to the studio, and that was a solo write. I wrote that one myself. I made sure of it. I was like, nobody else is going to be able to tell this story, so I want to do it myself. But yeah, that was a very cool process. That song really took on a different form. Like it went just from being my story from going to sports to music to anybody could relate to it in the times that we were living in with all the changes that we were having to go through. And I look back at Proverbs 19:21, I believe it is, where it's you may make many plans, but God's purpose will take hold. So don't make too many plans, you know? So that's kind of what that song means to me, and it's so cool to see what it means to different people.
Yeah. Well, it definitely it was a masterpiece to me because it's just there's just so much love and in my soul and just baseball runs through my veins and it was just very touching and very enjoyable. And so your first EP was Born in the Wrong Generation. You released that what, a few years back?
2018, yes.
Yes, and that
Yes.
yielded you a song that charted on the Texas music charts that I absolutely love. How Many Beers?
Yeah, good old beer drinking song. That was a solo ride as well. I think that might have been the first one I wrote myself, was How Many Beers. And yeah, it got up in the top 40, I believe,
Hmm.
on the radio
Hmm.
chart. So that was very cool. We still play that one in the set list.
Yeah, and you love to perform, don't you? You love
I
your
do.
live shows.
I do. Whenever I get to crank an amp up to 11 and just let that Telecaster go, I'm in a good mood that day. I promise you.
Hmm.
I love
And
playing live.
yeah, and you're quite accomplished on the guitar. And you also, I mean, you do so many things, baseball and songwrite, you sing, you do your shows, but you find time to have a YouTube channel, like to how to play the guitar or different things like that.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it started. I really haven't posted on YouTube in a while. I should probably get back into it. I'm actually getting into the whole TikTok thing now.
Hmm.
I've developed a decent following on there, and it's there's some stuff like that where I'm teaching stuff, and then there's some just performing new originals, and then but the ones that get the most attention are the goofy ones. Like I'll get with my fiddle player buddy, and we'll end a song on the wrong note on purpose, and it got like 100,000 hits. That's very lighthearted on there. But yeah, I used to do the lesson thing on YouTube, and actually, in the midst of COVID, when the shows were not very plentiful, I did some Zoom guitar lessons with some folks, and that was very very cool and very enlightening as well.
I love how no matter what's going on with you, you're always able just to turn it around into something else. That, going to go down this street now and see where we go now down this dirt road,
I
kind of.
try, you got to stay optimistic in this business and in these times. So I do the best I can.
Well, you're doing a great job at it. And now you also got the attention of Brad Paisley.
Oh, Brad, yes. I'm blessed to call my hero my friend. And he reached out to me first. I think it was 2019. He followed me on Instagram and then invited me out to a couple shows. I got to go to Cleveland, Ohio, and Cincinnati and hang out with him. Smoked a cigar with him, and we talked everything from guitars to Marvel movies to the Dodgers and the Astros because he's a Dodgers fan.
Hmm.
And yeah, since then we've kept in touch over social media. He actually called me a couple weeks ago. He star 67s me still. We haven't built that trust yet. I get it, big famous guy. I could be out for something bad, but I'm not. But he star 67s me. So when he calls me, it's no caller ID.
Hmm.
And I was loading in for a show in spring on a Wednesday night, and my phone rang. It was no caller ID, and I just hit decline and put it back in my pocket and kept loading in. And then, like 5 minutes later, I checked my phone, and Brad messaged me and goes, "Hey, I'm trying to call you." I was like, "Oh, I just sent Brad Paisley to voicemail." But yeah, we're doing a little bit of a TikTok guitar duel thing together that should be up sometime soon. So he's great. He loves music. He loves the guitar, and he loves sharing it with people. There's really no ego to that guy that I have seen, and
Hmm.
that's another reason I consider him a hero as well.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. He's awesome. So you have some new material coming out. Currently you have a new album that was just released, what, back in the fall?
Yes, it was November, so about 4 or 5 months ago.
I did preview some of the songs. I really liked Waiting on Love, Beneath the Pines. Everything was really good on there. So are you going to have a single release off of that coming soon?
So Waiting on Love actually was this. We put that one out as a single to radio last summer, and it made it all the way up to 19 at radio. That was our first top 20, and I think it just ran its course. And we're deciding if we want to take one off of that record and put it out next to radio, or we've got a couple new ones in the back pocket. So there's some options we're trying to sift through and figure out what the best move is. Um, and we got some stuff in the works up in old Nashville
Uh-huh.
that can't quite disclose yet, but we will very soon. It's very exciting. I'm getting to work with another hero of mine. And yeah, it's very cool. Just kind of hands are tied on revealing what it is, but
Right.
very
Right.
soon we'll be full head of steam. I graduate from Texas A&M in May, and that's kind of when we're gonna go for it.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the future is going to hold for you. And how do you do all this? You're going to A&M. You're basically full-time music business. I mean, look at everything you're doing. So how do you juggle everything?
Uh, Naps are crucial. Taking naps are definitely crucial. I'll be honest. The senioritis is starting to kick in. This is my 5th year of undergrad. When I transferred to A&M, I lost a whole year of hours. So I'm ready. I'm ready to be done. But it's you got to find balance. There's right now it's kind of frustrating for me because music is what I want to do 100%, and that's what I want to do, all the time, is like work on a new guitar lick or try to write a new song or practice my vocals or play shows or whatever. But I gotta, balance out. I got an assignment due, I got a paper due, I got an exam tomorrow. And
Right.
it's actually funny. Last week, literally, I played a show in Clear Lake, full band show on a Wednesday, and I had an exam at 2:00. I'm all online, so that helps a lot. But I had an exam at 2, and I wouldn't be done with it till like 4 or 5, and we had to be done sound checking by 7. So I drove the trailer down at noon, unloaded all the PA, all the equipment, all the merch myself, got it all set up, went into the green room and took the exam at
Wow.
2, and then finished up the exam, and all my band guys showed up and we started sound check, and then we played a show at 9. So
That's amazing. Your parents and your family have to be so proud of you.
well, they are, and they help a lot. My parents are my merch salesmen.
Oh,
They are at almost every show selling the merch, probably working harder than me, driving all over the freaking state. They went up to Fort Worth with me last week or 2 weeks ago for the regional radio awards, the Texas Radio
hmm.
Awards. They love it. My dad was involved with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. He did star security for a bunch of the artists in the 90s and 2000s. So he's well versed in the business. He knows a lot of people and he loves being around it. So it's kind of, blended, like lent itself to him being happy helping me out as well and
Right.
using those connections he's made.
Well, and with you coming up with all the activities that you, especially with sports, you're on the road. I've got a daughter that was athlete, and you're on the road a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
So now they just switched it out to now we're on the road with the music with Hayden
Pretty much.
instead of
Yeah. I mean,
baseball.
I remember we did baseball tournaments when I was a kid. We were in Florida and Alabama and, all these different
My
places. So
son-in-law did that too. He actually pitched at Sam Houston State, but he played those leagues where he traveled him and his brother. His mom and dad both they had the 2 boys, and they're like just a couple of years apart, so they had them all over the country playing ball.
very cool.
That
Yeah.
keeps
Sam Houston's in the same conference as us as
hmm.
HBU. So we played them quite a bit.
Yes. Now, going back to your performances and your stage presence and how you love to play, you in particular got to open for, I'm sure, another one of your heroes in Sugarland at Smart Financial. You opened for Willie.
I opened for Willie Nelson, yes. And it's hard to believe that was, man, that was before the first EP came out. That was like a couple of weeks before. So that was 2.5 years ago. Looking back on it, I should not have been opening that show. I was so green. Like, I can't even believe it. Like, the guts I had to step on that stage when I had only been doing it for a little bit of time. I cannot believe that we pulled that off.
How did it
Um,
come about?
it was connections we had made. We were working with some folks at the time that were believing in what we were doing, and they they had connections over at Smart, and just so happened they
Oh,
needed an opener for that night, and they're like, let's give this 19, 20-year-old kid a shot, and here we go. That was a very cool show. It was we played 30 minutes, and it was my first show, I think, that we played like all original music.
hmm.
So that was very, very cool. But yeah, I cannot believe that happened. Like, even now, like I'd be nervous as all heck trying to do it. And just how the hell did I pull that off at 19 or 20 or whatever I was?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love though when people get outside the box and think, let's get a Hayden Baker up here.
Right? Yeah, you never
I
know what's
love
going to
that.
happen. You never
Instead
know.
of sticking with the same old, same old. Who else have you opened for that
Oh
stands out
man.
for you?
Let's see. Tracy Lawrence, I've opened for a couple times. Most recent, we opened for him last fall in Austin. Wade Bowen, we've opened for him a few times. He's been great to us. Parker McCollum a couple times. Randall King very recently. I just opened for Mike Ryan last weekend. I've opened for him a couple times. We're actually going to open for Aaron Watson for the first time
Oh, wow.
next month in Nacogdoches. He's been great to me as well. We just kind of met and became friends. Joe Nichols, William Clark Green. Man, I think that might be all I can think of right now. But yeah,
That's
some
an
older guys too. Actually,
impressive list.
some older guys too. Larry Gatlin from the Gatlin brothers. Eddie
Oh,
Raven. Got to open for Eddie
wow.
Raven.
Eddie Raven still doing shows.
Yeah. Roy Head, who just passed away recently, God rest
Right.
his soul. We got to open for him. He was
Mhm.
slinging his microphone all over the stage, just like in the old days. So, yeah, we've been blessed to share the stage with some very, very talented artists.
When you were growing up in Katy, of course, with a lot of the county fairs that we have in that area, Austin, Waller, Fort Bend, and then the Houston Rodeo, were there any shows that you went to when you were young that kind of like led you down this path, or I'm saying, or like just kind of planted that seed that this could be something I want to do?
Definitely. I was a late bloomer when it came to my music ability. I didn't start playing guitar until I was, I think, 16, and I didn't start singing until I was about 19, 20 when I was up at college. But like I said, my dad worked with the rodeo in Houston for a while, so I always got to go to, the Brooks and Dunn shows and the Alan Jackson, the Clay Walkers. Brooks and Dunn was a huge, huge influence on me. As a young kid, I just remember I grew up on those records. I still listen to those records, and I loved watching their live shows. And Ronnie Dunn's, got the golden throat. Ronnie Dunn, is that what they call him? He's one of the best singers in the business, if not the best.
He is.
And then the big thing for me was I started playing guitar at 16, but when I was like 17, 18, I went and saw Paisley at the rodeo for the first time. Wow. And he was just running around on the dirt, just shredding guitar solos. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. That's it right there. And I went home and I just woodshedded all his records and still trying to figure out what he's doing.
And look at you now. With developing a friendship and a kindredship with Brad Paisley.
I have to pinch myself daily. I say that a lot, but I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's, the day and age that we live in, like, to where I could post something out there and he could see it and, repost it, and us develop a friendship that way. It's so cool. That's one of the good things about living in the 21st century.
Absolutely. That's good stuff right there. Yeah. Split. Let's see, moving along, I was looking at the calendar and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm trying to get ready for Easter. So what plans do you have for Easter, and how does this Easter differ than how you handled last Easter? Because I know we were all locked down last Easter.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Last Easter, we just stayed at home. I think we watched a sermon on the TV. Our neighborhood where my parents live in Katy, they had this thing where you would paint these rocks and put them out like by the pond or something, like the whole neighborhood would do it. So we did that. And we just kind of hung out outside. I think we drew with chalk on the sidewalk.
Yes, everybody was doing sidewalk chalk. That's right.
Yeah, I think that's what we did. But no, this year, this Friday I'll be at the Jolly Fox in Huntsville, and then Saturday I'm at Do-Si-Do in the Woodlands, and then I'm gonna go to Katy on Sunday, and I think we're just gonna go to church, go grab brunch somewhere, and enjoy family time.
Hang out and do some good family time. When you were growing up in Katy, outside of sports and all the stuff you did in school, what else did you like to do when you were growing up in Katy?
Oh man, I loved going hunting, deer hunting. My grandparents have a place in East Texas that I've been going to since I was a kid, and we would go up there on weekends and do country stuff. Me and my buddies we'd play, touch football on the weekends. I was very good at trick shots. Like,
really?
The Dude Perfect guys, I wasn't very good, but we did like videos. When YouTube came out and the iPod touches had the cameras, that was the coolest thing ever. And we would just video each other on the roof throwing a football into the net. And it was just the coolest thing to us at the time. Just stuff like that. We had 5 acres of land out in Katy, so all our friends would come over and we would just do all kinds of crazy stuff out there. I think my favorite memory is my 15th birthday. It was the first time I actually played guitar in front of people. But it poured down rain, and we had this huge front yard, and I had all my buddies over, and we played mud football. And I think that's one of my most fondest memories of being a kid out there.
I bet that was fun, but I bet Mama didn't like that.
She didn't. She had to do a lot of laundry and
Yes,
shell out
did.
a lot of my clothes to let the other kids wear.
Yes, she did. That's good stuff right there. Well, we look for good stuff for the future. We'll be keeping up with you. And again, your show's coming up this weekend, Huntsville, Woodlands.
Huntsville on Friday at the Jolly Fox, and the Woodlands on Saturday at Do-Si-Do. And then April 17th, we're in Nacogdoches with Aaron Watson.
Man, you got some.
Call.
That's some great venues right there.
Yes, we're very blessed. I'm very excited. I haven't played at the Jolly Fox or Do-Si-Do yet. Bonita, this will be our second time, but very excited to play with Aaron.
Have you played Green Hall yet?
No, I actually that's one of the bucket list ones that I have not hit yet.
You have to let me know
soon.
when you play Green Hall. Hopefully soon. All right. Well,
Absolutely.
before I dismiss you and let you go, I really enjoyed it, and congrats on all your accomplishments. And I love the backstory with the baseball. But I always have to ask my guests before I dismiss them one question: if you were a cocktail, what would you be?
Old fashioned.
Man, that one's winning so far.
Old fashioned.
Okay. All right, Hayden. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be following you and keeping in touch, and have you back on hopefully again.
Would love to, Helen. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Hayden.
From as she left, I dare to say, well, you can go to hell. Hell, I'll go to Texas. I've had my fill of every place but home. Well, take a